This is the no-knead bread you never knew you needed, with less than 2 hours from pouring out your ingredients to melting butter on your slice. This is it. This is the Ballymaloe Brown Bread that they make every morning in time for breakfast. It's a basic wholemeal loaf, super delicious, and I was lucky enough many moons ago to learn how to bake it with them. They're staple for breakfast every day, super easy, super healthy, super quick, and something we all need to make. This is the perfect sandwich loaf. It makes the best toast. You don't have to worry about your sourdough starter, which I've killed. You know, you can just mix, raise, and bake, and slice, and butter, and scoff. Let's get breading. It has 450 grams of strong wholemeal flour. There's a whole world of wholemeal flours out there, and the ones at Ballymaloe, they mill themselves or in a mill nearby, and it's beautifully grainy and very coarse. I couldn't get my hands on any of that here, so I'm using very good quality, slightly finer grain, so that texture of the bread will be slightly different if you've been lucky enough to eat theirs. 450 grams of strong wholemeal flour. To that, we're going to add 50 grams of strong white flour. If you're a seasoned yeasted baker, you can use your fresh yeast, 30 grams of fresh yeast, and let it sit and bubble. I don't have any fresh yeast, so I'm using just regular dried yeast. Either use 30 grams of fresh yeast that you've let sit in some hot water, or 1.5 teaspoons or 7 grams of fast-acting dried yeast. And then the all-important salt. We're going to use 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. It's quite a lot of salt, but that's what gives it flavour. To that, we're going to add some, as Darina Allen says, blood hot, but I'm going to say hand hot water. In here, I've got a teaspoon of treacle. You can use molasses, you can use honey, you can use golden syrup. This gives the bread a little bit of a tangy sweetness, and it also helps to activate the yeast and get everything moving. So I'm going to just add some water. I've given it a little stir. This is hand hot. Too cold, the yeast won't work. Too hot, the yeast will die. Just like put your finger in, make sure it's comfortable, perfect temperature. Let's pour this in. You can mix by hand, or you can have like a bougie dough scraper like me. Start to bring it together. This is a very wet dough. You couldn't knead it even if you wanted to. So let's just bring it all together. I mean, I'm using this scraper, but I am inevitably going to get my hands involved in a second. So, you know, let's just bring it all together. You know what? I'm going to get my hands involved. With all best intentions, hands are better. Right, so let's bring it all together. It's going to be sticky. I think I forgot to mention that was 425 ml of warm water. Holy sticky, people. Right, perfect. See how sticky that is? That's what you want. Let's get this dough off my fingers. See, the dough scraper did come in handy. Gonna let this rest for 10 minutes somewhere nice and toasty warm. But it's just to let it all hang out together before we transfer it into our tin and give it its proper short proof. So this has had a little time to get acquainted. We're just gonna liberally grease my non-stick tin. Controversial, I know, but works perfectly for this bread. A nice liberal grease of sunflower oil. If you're worried about the non-stickness of your non-stick tin, maybe just line it with a slip of parchment. This is a sticky dough and you want the bread to come out easily. Let's ease in this super sticky dough. It's going to go for its rise now, only about 20 minutes. God, the dough is still warm. Only about 20 minutes until it comes up to the edge of the tin. You don't want it to come much higher. So I'm going to pop this in a warm place, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven. See you in 20 minutes. There's a trick to getting a super crispy crust. For the last 10 minutes of cooking, you remove the bread from the pan carefully. There we go. And you put it back in. I like to do it upside down. Last 10 minutes and crisp up, baby. It's just tap for doneness. Perfect. Let it cool, and then let's see. Our loaf is cooled, and I think it's time to make a sandwich. Lovely, crusty. Look at that perfect crumb. Can you see? Dense, delicious. Oh, yum. Can't wait to make a sandwich of this. This is one of life's great pleasures. Freshly baked bread, salty butter. It's this moist, slightly tangy crumb. The whole wheat flavour shines through. It's got just enough salt. Oh, it's just like comfort food right here. For more ideas on how to cook more and eat better, subscribe now.